Biden pushes the Senate to pass a sweeping voting rights bill. One nonprofit group is looking to tighten up election security. Heritage Action for America is investing $10 million to protect voting in swing states.
The group's executive director, Jessica Anderson, joins us now. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us this morning. $10 million that you are putting towards this. Let's have a look at how you're planning on spending it. First up, support stricter rules on voter ID, support citizenship verification, ballot harvesting, easier for states to clean voter rolls and to facilitate the job of election observers. There is clearly and has been some criticism and a lack of trust in the electoral process recently. How are you hoping to change that?
Thanks for having me this morning. The ability to have faith in our electoral system is really key to our American republic. And so we want to work at the state level to enact these reforms to make it possible for governors and state legislators to put these best practices in place. And these are common sense reforms that over 80% of Americans support. So when we look at the changes that are needed at the state level, we know that they are doable and that they're well wanted by the American people. And we think if this can be done, it can help restore some of that faith in our electoral system before the next election.
Let's take a look at the states that this effort will target. That includes Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Michigan, Nevada, Texas, and Wisconsin. Two-part question. First of all, why these states? Second of all, how will you go about this? Is this kind of a boots on the ground type effort? Will this be targeted ads? What do you plan to do?
So each of these states was determined because of the political makeup on the ground, but also Heritage Action has an incredible grassroots footprint across the country. We have over 2 million activists. These activists are ready in these states. They're ready to engage with their state legislators, with their governors. So we'll be activating them, driving calls to action. We'll also be running digital and television ads, all with the message that common sense reforms like voter ID, like prohibiting private funding into our election, like ending all of the attributes that are around same-day registration are possible, and they're possible at the state level. This is the role of the states to safeguard our election and put these reforms in place, get the federal government out of here, block H.R. 1, and allow the state reforms to take place at a state-by-state basis.
Yeah, Jessica, you mentioned H.R. 1 there. Well, let's just pull up what exactly the Democrats are trying to push through now. It will bar states from restricting the ability to vote by mail, establish an automatic voter registration system, and it guarantees same-day voter registration. What do you make of that? And is it likely to pass?
Well, H.R. 1 is Nancy Pelosi's hallmark or trademark bill. It's the first bill. It's her first priority. It passed this last week in the House, but it was opposed by a bipartisan group of members of Congress. And so there was one Democrat that opposed it. It's worth noting it wasn't just Republicans that opposed it, because most Americans support common sense reforms around our election. They don't want this federal power grab that's in place with H.R. 1. It will move now to the Senate, where it will likely be reintroduced sometime in March. Whether or not it's able to pass and make its way to Biden's desk, we sure hope not, and we're working hard to ensure it doesn't. But in the meantime, we can tackle these state reforms and ensure that they're in place at the state government level.
Okay. Jessica Anderson, keep us updated. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.